What up, what up, what up, what up? Where are my people? Where are my people? Where are they? What up, Ty? I think this is the first time you've ever been the first one in here. What's up, Stormy Malibu? What's going on, little bro? King Lil Rudy. Baltimore's finest out this mug. What's going on, V? That's Vaughn right there, Harlem Dude 63. What's happening? What's happening, Kwanzaa? Kwanzaa Jaridard in the middle. What happened, Ty? What happened? It says you're invited. And will it stop ringing? House of Sufi, and what's up, Mo? Peace. Oh, there you go. That took a while. That took a while to kick in.
Oh no, I just was waiting to press the button. I was
Okay.
watching the show.
Okay. I was looking at and I posted some of our joints from early part of 2024, and some of that shit is so unbelievably funny. It's so funny, man. Y'all got to
Some of
go.
the what?
Some of the stuff, some of our early, what up, Ed? Some of our early joints from like the beginning,
Oh yeah.
in like February of 2024. And oh boy, some of that shit was so crazy. It's so funny. I was laughing my ass off every time I go into them joints and start doing them, the editing part and stuff like that. That shit is funny as hell. JTXP, what's goody? Welcome to We Poppin' Son, ladies and gentlemen.
Episodes?
Huh?
Have you sent them the episodes?
No, I just been editing them. I've been editing them. First. I shared one via TikTok with them, but I just been editing them and putting them up on Facebook. So what I want to do is get like 10 of them, 10 or so of them edited and ready to go, and then I'm gonna just go ahead and give them access by way of the. Well, I guess I could send them directly though, like that. What's happening, Black Mango Daytona? What's good with you, man? Welcome to We Poppin' Son, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Pop. That there's Son.
And I'm Son.
You dig? And we are the first and only, still, father and son convo show. Y'all like to call them podcast. We started this really unintentionally about, well, it's going to be 2 years come February of 2026. It'll be 2 years, which is crazy. 2 years of doing this twice a week at 7 o'clock consistently. And I think we may have missed maybe 2 of those days. One Thursday before your sister's graduation from college, and one Tuesday prior to that because I got on the road and I kind of didn't have reception or something like that. But it's been consistent, So if you're fucking with us, man, share this, man. Share with people. I don't think there are a lot of. I understand a lot of people are really caught up in a lot of foolishness and idiocy and non-value add stuff. I understand that a lot of our people have been tuned in and kind of programmed with stupid, useless, pointless stuff that I guess it enables their brain to not have to work or something. I don't really. I got so many ideas in my head about why that might be, based on my clinical understandings, the psychology, the sociological implications, everything that we've been through. But my opinion of us in a general way, and though it's limited because there are all sorts of black people in all sorts of social and economic and educational and experiential circumstances. What I'm speaking about, I guess, when I say I have disfavorable ideas about what gets the attention of our people, what keeps the attention of our people, I'm going by mainstream popular culture as it displays us. And I've been a guy who's been moving around a long, long time. I've been in the cracks and crevices. I've been in the places and at the times when things were becoming what will be trend, what will be popular, right? Built a whole publication off of it.
Nah,
Baltimore History Channel.
you just hate niggas, bro. You just hate niggas. I hate women. The the man versus women conversation. It's just interesting. Like, nigga, it's you. Everybody else is perfect.
I think you figured it out. You solved the mystery, son.
Nah,
You have solved the mystery. Cavario is all fucked up. I mean, when I get my bag, like I want to get my bag one more again, you ain't gotta worry about me no more, buddy. I tell you that right now, because I've had enough. I really have had enough. There's a certain energy that I want to engage with, a certain mindset. And I don't mean that a person has to think like me at all or believe like me. Really, what I prefer is people who are genuine. That's what I prefer. I prefer people who behave authentically like themselves. And I know this is difficult because a lot of people they get caught up so fast and so early, they never even get around to becoming themselves. It never happens. Right? By the time they're 8, 9 years old, they're already so inundated with a bunch of external input, it overrides whatever internal programming they may have had that might give way to an authentic personality. And I have an apprehension, always have had an apprehension about people like that, about people who pretend to be some kind of way that they're not. I've known all kinds of people. I've known people who were genuinely bad people, but we got along wonderfully because they didn't have to not be themselves around me. I know a lot of, this is something that used to come up a lot when I was a kid, when I was a much younger person, adolescent. A lot of my friends used to go through it with girls. I never went through it with girls. I never had issues with girls. Never had problems with girls. Never got my heart broken. I never went through none of that. And a lot of it had to do, and I also don't have tumultuous relationships with my former, girlfriends. I'm tight with all the ones with whom I still have interaction and communication, just because it's just their lives and my life haven't diverged so much that we just completely lost track of one another. And anybody whom I come into contact with, they're genuinely happy to be in contact with me. There's no bad feelings or nothing like that. And it has a lot to do with two things. One, nobody ever had to pretend to be somebody other than who they were with me. Guys was having a lot of problems with girls back in the days because they wanted the girl to be away. They wanted her to act like they wanted her to act. They wanted her to behave within their ideals of her. So, you're young, you finding your way, you figuring it out, you going through what you're going through at home. Nobody has any idea what that is or what that effect is from whatever that is. A lot of girls was going through things, man, when I was coming up, and I don't imagine it's much different now. There's got a lot of girls was going through stuff. They were experiencing things, and it was impacting their personalities and impacting their self-perception and thus their choices. A lot of girls were behaving in ways that were back then. Now you got OnlyFans, but back then they were frowned upon. Now you got social media. You
Yeah.
can find your tribe no matter how screwed up you are. But back then, it was like,
Now it's celebrated. Before it was ostracized. You couldn't be the girl
oof,
that was like, "I'm out here showing my titties." They're like, "Girl, you crazy!" Like even if girls were
yeah,
down to do that, they wouldn't have been openly like, "Yeah, this is what we on."
oh no,
It wasn't. It
oh
wasn't a culture of welcoming that. Talking about no, she just being a woman. She just. It was none of that shit. It was just
no,
you had to have
nothing
some
like
self
that.
respect or self regard.
Oh, you had to pretend. You had to pretend, even though you know you were just on the roof with four boys and they each had a finger in a hole, you know,
Yeah,
and you supposed to be playing run, catch, and kiss, and don't nobody know where you or it's eight girls, you know, five, six guys. Everybody knows where seven of the girls are and two of the guys are. For 30 minutes, though, the one
right.
girl and the four guys, nobody knows where they are for like 30 minutes. And then they all come one by one out of the building. And we done been on every floor. And nobody know. We would have been in the backyard. You know, kids in the hood, we play in the backyard.
Yeah,
And yeah, it was on the roof, you know, by the elevator shaft. And, you know, that never goes away. That girl will, because those four guys know that. And one of them didn't get a hold. So, or he ain't getting no head or whatever she was up there doing. You know, everybody come down there talking about smell my finger, except this. He gonna always remember that, and he's gonna make sure that she never forgets that she did that.
yeah.
That I didn't hold that against no girl. I didn't hold that against her. Like, you know, was she gonna be my girlfriend or anything like that? Whatever. Probably not gonna happen. But
That's why
I
you ain't
didn't.
holding against her, yo. Them
I
niggas
ain't
wanted to
treating her
date her.
differently.
That
Yeah, I
last
guess that.
nigga that didn't get the finger in her, he was in love with her. Like this was his opportunity to get close to her. Y'all niggas came too,
This is true.
and
This is true.
his image of women is broken, and he forever like scorned and hurt. He don't even know how
This
to
is
like
true.
express that.
This is true. This like it sounds real adolescent or whatever. Uh, but it really isn't. Somebody that said something real. Somebody that said,
Cole, a
uh,
comedian, crazy
Cole,
ass.
Cole comedian said, "What's good? The new Sanford and Son of Harlem." Ah, yeah.
Stupid.
I like that. I like that. I like that. Yeah, we got to do a Sanford and Son episode. Where you know, too bad we just missed Halloween because we could have did it for Halloween. Next year Halloween we're gonna be Sanford and Son.
Man, it don't
and we
even
go
matter.
and we gonna
I'll
get on
pull
there
up
and
to the
get
crib.
busy.
Pull
Right.
up to the crib and just be doing stuff around the farm.
I'm with that. I'm definitely with that. I'm absolutely with that. I like
It
that.
could just be promo. It
I
be no
like that. I like
promo.
that. Yeah, we need that. We need that. We definitely need
Yeah.
promos. We definitely need promos for sure, for sure. Um, but I'm reading this. What's up? It's Krill's Ethos. What's happening with you, man? It's been a minute. Um, Harlem dude at 63, Vaughn. He says most people want to be the person they've watched from the sideline. That's true. This is
Hell
true.
yeah.
This is very true. This is very true. And you know, it's nothing. That's admiration. There's nothing wrong with admiration, although you should have priorities in determining what it is that you're admiring and the actual value of it. That's definitely missing. But in terms of those kinds of girls and or you know, there was different types of girls. Not every girl dealt with the going through the little hot stage where you know she was doing things that would stick with her for the rest of her life or for the majority of her adolescent and going into adulthood or whatever until she moved away or something. But there were other things, you know, the girl who hair was never done, you know, who didn't seem to be being taken care of,
Mm-hmm.
you know, type stuff.
But her
I
body
had,
was developing.
or that one, the one who was really truly sweet and innocent, but for whatever reason, her body was developing prematurely. So she was dealing with a lot of other shit that other, kids wouldn't even understand that she's going through. They don't understand that there are grown men, probably in her house even, that are saying and attempting to, if not doing, inappropriate things to her. We don't know what that is, and we don't know how that impacts her personality or behavior, but it did. Her self-perception and stuff like that, but it did. And it made the difference in how she interacted with us as her peers. And I'm talking about, prepubescent shit. I'm talking about before puberty, before
Yeah.
hair starts growing in places that you never was before, and voices start changing, and that type of shit, height and all that. Like in those periods, guys were going through, in my generation, guys were going through a lot. And I found myself a lot saying like, yo, like, you stupid. Like, why are you acting like that? And that she didn't been on the roof, so and so finger popped this, this one finger popped it, that one finger popped it. Like, why are you going through all of this, tripping up, going through all this emotional stuff about this girl?
Because he
Like
really
it.
cared.
It don't make sense. It don't make sense. She's obviously outside the realm of acceptable availability. She might be available, but it's not acceptable.
But he broke
It
it,
is what it
so he
is.
trying to fix a broken person too, like broken people do.
Ah, this is true. This is true. This is definitely true. That's
He
true.
think if I keep loving her and showing her that them niggas down the street selling drugs ain't shit, then she going to come back and be over here with me. It's like, no, nigga, that's just what she into right now. Like, no matter how much you be a nice guy and hold her bags and open the door, she want the nigga that threw the apple at her head. She want that nigga. She want that nigga.
Yeah,
So
I
what?
guess.
Cavario got 19 women. She want to be 20.
Yeah, that's true.
Niggas hated that.
That's
Especially with
true.
you, because you was fresh. You could run
That's
fast. You
true.
could jump high. You had nice clothes. You had bikes. And then you didn't even care about them. So it made it even like,
That's
damn, he
true.
doesn't care about this bitch. And I really care.
Yeah, they definitely hated that shit. They definitely hated that shit. Cause I mean, when we were little, my wife was busting niggas in the head, like punching niggas in the mouth and all type of shit, whatever. But loved her of me, and I was not paying any attention. Like she chased me, they chasing her. She beat them up for chasing her. You know what I mean? And yeah, that's that for developing young men. Yeah, that's gonna create some serious psychological and emotional baggage if
You
if if they
already
don't mature out of it, I guess.
you were already in a space where you had a focus, you had a goal, you already knew what you was gonna do.
That's
While
true.
everybody else is trying to figure themselves out, you already knew where you was going.
That's true.
So
That's true.
that focus and that was the difference in you, and that just made women want you more. It made them be less attractive in those spaces.
This that those yeah. I guess I never really thought about that, but that's true. That is true. I mean, having that sense of direction and that early sense of purpose, as twisted as it was, it it's not so much the what I wanted to do. It was the fact that I was solid in what I wanted to do, and I had a clear frame of reference for who and how I needed to be and operate. And it was all, very congruent with my personality. I wasn't stepping outside of my true character or personality to assimilate with this focus. So I guess that gets to the nature of women, in that women are drawn to security in every way. Being able to be with a guy as they were with me, to know that I'm safe. Ain't nothing gonna happen to me with this dude. I'm absolutely safe. That was a big factor. And this guy knows what to do. This guy has a sense of direction, a sense of purpose, and he moves with that. I mean, these are concepts that we as children had no perception of. It's just like an innate drive. It's in the human nature. Those things resonate at a DNA level or something. Because I mean, I didn't know it. The girls didn't know it. The dudes who were, feeling some kind of way, they didn't know it. The ones that wanted to be like a nigga, they didn't know it. They didn't know why. They just knew what I was getting in terms of the regard and adulation. And I guess they were like, well, I don't know what it is you got working, but I want it, type of thing. But in relating this back to dudes tripping and going through all kinds of emotional roller coasters behind women who are emotionally unstable, women who are emotionally unavailable, women who are emotionally stagnant or, emotionally numb, and thus unable to reciprocate any degree of real regard or value or adulation or love. The way that dudes have and do respond to that is always frustrated the shit out of me. Always. I just be like, somebody like a fucking punk. Fuck that bitch. I'm talking about as a little kid. I was like 11 years old. Like, somebody's like a fucking punk about this bitch. Like, you know, because so much I didn't understand. So much about the human dynamic that I did not understand, the relational dynamic between human beings. I did not understand it. I'm glad to say that I gained a great degree of understanding, because without that, I would not be able to have been attract what I've attracted progressively. Because as I grew and became more insightful and understanding about myself and my own psychological and emotional condition, the more I was able to take responsibility for that, first and foremost, because it's one thing to recognize where you are psychologically and emotionally, and it's another thing to take responsibility for it, right? A person might, at some point, I don't know if this happens to a lot of people, but I imagine it happens to some people, that they come to a point and realize certain things about themselves, but they don't necessarily understand that it doesn't mean, now that you get this about yourself, that people should have to tolerate it. That some woman that you're interested in or involved with should have to tolerate it, because this is who you are and how you are. You know, it means that now that you know better, you have the burden of responsibility to do better. You have to be responsible. You have to know when you're behaving in a manner that is disregarding to the woman you're involved with, psychological and emotional condition.
Yeah, I recognize that about myself now. So when I get in spaces and we're communicating, I'm like, we're not communicating. You're more so talking at me, and how I'm receiving it is not going to be conducive for a conversation. I'm like, yo, I don't want to talk right now. They tend to be like, oh, you just want to talk. I'm like, no, I know how I'm gonna respond. I'm gonna get disrespectful. I'm gonna go crazy. I'm gonna go too far left. So in order for me to not do that, let's just not talk right now. because this is how I build a boundary and protect me and you. But if you don't respect that, it's gonna get real disrespectful.
Yeah, I mean that's one of the major components of being a dysfunctional person. Not having or recognizing others' boundaries. When you do that, when you say, I'm in a space where I might not communicate as effectively as I'd like to, I may miscommunicate something and only do more damage to this connection. So, let me take 10. And they look at it like, oh, I'm not important enough for you to disregard your psycho-emotional condition and behave in the manner in this moment that I want you to. That's a person that's a garden variety dysfunctional codependent person. So few of the people that I knew,
Garden variety.
garden variety. That's not the special kind. That's like the the low budget, general one that like most people are. You're not specially fucked up. You just average fucked up. You know. Let's say I think I was about to say something about that. That lack of a understanding of boundaries and how a codependent person or dysfunctional person. Oh, I was actually about to say, when I got introduced to those terms, codependence, dysfunction, I didn't know anybody else. Nobody I knew had ever heard the terms codependent or dysfunction. Not one person that I knew. And I knew a lot of people, like way more than the average person.
You been
Like everyday
you
average people kind of just, they know like a
since you
handful of
found
people.
that out, you were saying to me, "Hey, don't that woman codependent. Do not be with you." You would definitely be like, "Nah, nah, she, nope." I'd be like, "You ain't even really." You be like, "I ain't either."
Yes, because it's like anything I think, and y'all can, you know, speak through your own experiences. I'm speaking through my experience. Anytime I got acclimated with something and I really took it in, really got it, from that point forth, it kind of became part of my matrix, part of the filter through which I view existence, like this is the filter that's made up of understanding this and understanding that and understanding this and being aware of that and being aware of this. And I see the more of these terms and conditions I got exposed to, and the deeper the understanding of them I gained, the more intricate the weaving of my matrix became. And I was able to, just like in the Matrix, remember when Neo got to a certain point, he was able to see the Matrix without jacking in. That took time. He had evolved through different stages, have different experiences, gain exposure to those experiences, and then through that process become more proficient at seeing. And that's what I was attempting to afford you, because I always understood that if you guys, I was gaining these understandings from like 25 going forward. And I was understanding that if I could import these insights into you guys at 14, 15, it would put you so far ahead of me. If you could know in your life trajectory what I had learned in the course